Okay, I think we've established at this point that Gen Z can just not win. They can't do anything right. It doesn't matter what they do or don't do. They're going to get bullied for it online. And most recently, I learned that Gen Z eats dinner at the wrong time, according to older generations. They're eating dinner too early in the day, and guess what? It's because they're losers.
It's literally what the article said.
Yeah.
It's because they're losers.
So this is actually backed up with data from OpenTable, where you make reservations online. They have noted a rise in 6 p.m. reservations that are up 11% in London and 6% across the UK. And they believe that this is a marker of customer values changing over time. Basically, as one interviewed analyst pointed out, eating out is becoming a way to socialize without compromising other goals. In other words, Gen Z is eating dinner earlier than the rest of adults because they're obsessed with self-optimization. They're obsessed with going to bed early and having enough energy for their morning workout and maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Smart stuff.
There's a 20 here from Not That John Stewart. He says, I've seen people waiting in digital line to buy tickets, but in my case, it was season tickets for college football. Makes sense.
Still, I could never.
Okay, so the self-optimization thing is like, I get it, because I'm always kind of like, if I have a bad day, my brain does kind of obsessively go to like, was it like the time I got up? Did I not get enough sleep? Is it something that I ate? Is it like, I'm always trying to like figure out what it is. And it's not like my routine changes very much. I live pretty much the same life every day, but I'm always kind of trying to be acutely aware of like what might be causing that. You know, it doesn't stop the fact that sometimes you just have a bad day. Like last night on IRL, I was having a rough one, and I was like, is it because I ate something different before I did IRL? Because like I say, like if you eat a lot of bread before you go do something where you have to talk a lot, carbs can like give you brain fog and something like that. And I felt like I was having one of those nights last night. But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just whatever you're talking about, right? Sometimes it just might not hit the same. Whatever, fine. But I feel like the internet has created that aspect of Gen Z where they are obsessed with self-optimization.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bill's even bopping a little bit today.
I don't hate this one.
Good. I listened to his new album. I listened to Swag 2 the whole way through. It's kind of meh.
It's mid.
It seems like he bought one of those. I'm sure this is not true, but it sounds like he bought one of those like prepackaged beats. Like there isn't anything distinct about the backing tracks on it the way there are in his previous albums.
Well, I would say being sensible and mindful of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and a sustainable lifestyle, that used to come later in life. In your 30s, 40s, not in your 20s, certainly not your early 20s. That wasn't as much of a consideration. So Gen Z, in a way, is kind of acting too grown for their age, in a way that's not really a sign of maturity. It's a sign of more so like a fuddy-duddy attitude. Like I think millennials really started this, but Gen Z and millennials.
Do you mean
both,
like
Gen Z and millennials both for years have posted these memes that are like, I love canceling plans and like laying in my bed and having a cup of tea and watching
staying home
Netflix,
and watching Netflix.
And
yeah,
I'm not like the other young people.
I was social
hate
distancing
socializing,
before it was cool.
But it's like, in a way, signaling that you're above socializing and that you are more responsible than your similar-aged peers.
There's another 20 from Corey Anderson that I did not see.
Oh, let me find that. The only way I would pay more than $40 for concert tickets is if Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, or Freddie Mercury came back to life. Small shows are the best. I saw Blink-182 and Pierce the Veil last year for $40 a ticket.
Pierce the Veil.
There you go.
Wow, that's surprising because their tickets are really expensive most of the time.
I'm not taking responsibility. YouTube froze. That's why I didn't see that 20. They're blaming me. They're like, you missed it. I'm like, I
Hey,
didn't
now,
miss it.
take it easy, chat. Be
So-
nice. Be nice.
This says late diners are on the outs, and the Times argues that early meetings are in. And this is young people reportedly opting for early dinners because they're into like optimizing their lifestyle, which is called hyper optimization. We've become accustomed to prioritizing efficiency and speed over the process and pleasure of the minutia, using HelloFresh to eliminate the need to pop into shops, downing Huels on the go instead of eating proper meals. The way we're socializing has become infected by this mythology of optimization, according to the author of this op-ed, who's calling Gen Z losers. And I agree with that. They also point out in a GQ article earlier this year, they mourned the death of hanging out, observing the rise of regimented catch-ups over meandering, unstructured plans.
Wait, what do
Catching
they-
up is
okay.
something you can put on a calendar and tick off a list. Hanging out, on the other hand, is harder to define. It might go on longer than planned and end up somewhere different to where it started. And I agree with that. I'm against this trend of Zoomers acting like old people. I think that they need to have more fun and loosen up a bit.
Yeah, I agree. And like you mentioned, like the self-optimization was more common for people in their 30s or their 40s. Like that's when
Yeah.
you would start doing that. Perhaps that's just a side effect of me becoming
Yeah.
me getting old. So it's more common then, but when you're younger, that's obviously not the path forward usually. And it's that there is a certain level of freedom when you're young where you can just go and do things on a weeknight, like when you've got work the next day, because you feel young enough that you can get up, you can stay up late and then go out and do things. It feels like that energy is gone now.
Right.
Right?
Take advantage of that time.
I had that energy. Granted, I like painstakingly made sure I never worked jobs that required me to be up early. Like I did not work more because I'm a night owl by nature anyways. I go to bed at like 3 a.m. But like if I had to get up, like, you know, you don't get your shift off the day after New Year's, then you have to slink into work hungover. You did it because that's what you did. You went out and you had fun the night before, and then you dragged your ass into work the next day. It feels like less of that is common now.
Right.
Right?
Because, you know, you have to measure up to all of these influencers that are making lifestyle content and fitness content, and you can never be optimized enough. Self-improvement is the religion of the youth. And while I don't condemn the idea of self-improvement in and of itself, I don't think that should be like the pinnacle of your existence. I don't
What
think that should be your philosophy of life.
What percentage of Gen Z do you think actually engage in this kind of behavior? Because if it's a small percentage, I think that's fairly normal that there will be a small percentage of you know, whatever group of people that look to, you know, excel and better themselves and stuff. If it were something that were actually ubiquitous, that were, you know, the majority, then I might agree with you guys. But if it's just that we're kind of focusing on this group of Gen Z people, and maybe there are more Gen Z that do it than millennials, then, you know, that's fine. But if we're only focusing on a small percentage, I think it's fine that they do that. I think it's actually pretty normal.
Well, it says like 50% of young adults are likely to it says young adults are 50% as likely to socialize in a pub or club than millennials. So they're saying that 50% less Gen Z are likely to go out to a nightclub or go out to a bar with their friends as opposed to their millennial counterparts.
74% of these young adults report missing a night out to be fresh for a workout the next day. And that seems like self-improvement taken too far, in my opinion.
You know what it is?
Part of self-improvement, or I guess more so improving your life, is maintaining a healthy social life.
Yeah. I feel like this started when Americans stopped drinking soda and started drinking water. It all just snowballed from there.
I really dislike American dining culture in general. It's too rushed. It's too regimented. You have a waiter coming back to bother you every 5 minutes, asking if everything is okay. How are we liking our food? And they want to get you in and out of the door as quickly as possible.
That's why they seat you by somebody else.
It's obnoxious.
Even though there's other seats open.
And then they mention here in Spain there is a term called sobremesa, referring to the joy of drawn out dining, the time that you spend after your meal just chatting with the rest of the people at your table. Yeah. Because the point of going out to dinner is not the food. It shouldn't be just there for the food. It's about socializing. And that's what I think has been lost on these young people.
Olivia calls me out in the chat. She says, Brett, you literally only want to go out once a month with people. Like, that's a high number for me, but that's...
Is that your quota?
That's my quota. She's like, we need to make time to go out with friends like once a month. I'm like, is that like a hard number or like, is that like a soft number? They work, like those are like a little high for me, but that's just me. And I've always been that way, but more so now as I'm older. But when I was younger, it's not like I was out skating, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Then we'd go eat afterwards. But that's not the same thing as like making plans to go do other things. Skating was a very like specific activity that we kind of all coalesced around. And that's, I don't get the whole socializing beyond that. I'm still figuring it out.
Replies. Seeing Gen Z get bullied the way millennials did warms my heart. It really does.
I feel like the millennial bullying didn't, but the millennial bullying didn't start till way later.
No,
and
but
it started in the internet.
It's different because millennials are the first generation to get actively bullied by the younger generation online.
Yeah.
Another reply said, the author is whining that kids these days aren't staying up late, getting drunk and eating dinner at 10 or 11 p.m., thinks that people who eat early are too obsessed with optimizing their lives and cannot fathom why people may not want to get shit-faced. I don't think that's what they're referring to, though. They're just referring to relaxing your self-discipline momentarily for a higher good, which is connection with other human beings. Yeah. And not prioritizing your self-improvement goals over friendships.
Yeah.
And Gen Z doesn't seem to understand that. That's another thing I've complained about in regard to Gen Z, is that they're just so self-involved and they don't find other people interesting.
Yeah.
And that makes you less interesting. So they're kind of right.
And maybe they need somebody in this, I guess, in like the self-optimization community to point out to them that part of being optimized is having like a full social life as well.
Yeah,
especially when you're young.
This Brian Johnson guy.
The guy who's going to live forever.
He says, oh yeah, I still go out to dinner with friends. I just make sure I go home and get into bed by 8 p.m. And when I'm out at dinner, I only eat steamed broccoli and I don't drink. No one wants to live like that.
Yeah.
No one wants to prolong their life at the cost of actually enjoying their life.
Leon 510 in the chat says they're still on drugs though. They're just on prescribed drugs. That's true 100%. And it is also true that, certain drugs, whether it's benzos, they will zap your desire to go. Maybe that's just me. Like maybe it just like those types of things like opiates and benzos. If you are already less than the most social person in the world, they will exacerbate those tendencies you have to the extreme. So it's like, okay, it's like you said, they're going to eat at 6 p.m. It's like 5:30. They just got home from work. They're still kind of feeling it, depending on whether they take their drugs, in acute situations, meaning not just once a day, but they take it when they have like a panic attack or something like that. Suddenly, the idea to just get up and go to a restaurant, they're like, oh, I got to get in my car. I mean, oh, it's downtown. I got to, like, literally, this is something that used to happen to me. I'm like, I don't want to go find parking. Like, I would just not go do things because, like, I don't want to deal with the hassle of it. And part of that is because people are, artificially changing their body chemistry through drugs all the time these days. And it's far more common. And the drugs that kids used to do, like, the marijuanas and such, that was something that people used together. And it was part of the social strata at that time. Like, that was something you all did as a group. Now
It's become solipsistic.
now it's a solitary endeavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Don't do drugs, kids. This is not an advertisement in any way, shape, or form.
I see a lot of takes about this type of thing from Inez Stepman on X. You guys should follow her.
She's great.
Whenever stuff like this comes up, she says, like, young people need to stop acting like losers. And I'm 100% behind her in that take.
There you go.
So maybe I agree with the bullying.
I mean, like, it happened to the millennials, but it didn't happen until, like, the iPhone 5, and then people started reading their BuzzFeed articles online, and then the millennials became the butt of the joke. Before that, nobody had time to be the butt of the joke because everybody was suffering from the economic downturn.
So true.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.